but everybody's probably heard of an isometric. It's force generation or muscle contraction without movement. Big part of my recovery from shoulder surgery.
Modern training is obsessed with more reps, more speed, and more weight. But what if the strongest joints ever built didn't come from constant movement at all? What if they were forged in stillness, under tension, when the body had nowhere to hide? Isometric holds train the body to absorb force, lock into position, and stay stable when movement breaks down. They strengthen the connective tissue, reinforce weak angles, and teach your joints how to survive pressure instead of collapsing under it. This is the kind of strength that doesn't show up in mirrors, but shows up when it matters. In this video, you'll learn 4 simple holds that quietly build joints that refuse to fail, boost testosterone, and leave you looking like a Greek statue without even a single rep. So, if you're tired of joint pain, fluffy fat, or workouts that make you look like a marshmallow running on a treadmill, these 4 brutal holds will help you forge a shredded physique in no time. Before getting into the fun part, here's a question for you. If you had to choose one area to make unbreakable, knees, shoulders, hips, or spine, which one would you pick? Drop it in the comments. But why is holding a position so ridiculously effective? Isometric training strengthens the body in a way most workouts ignore. Instead of moving a joint through repeated motion, isometrics lock the body into a position and force it to hold under constant tension. This creates a unique stimulus for tendons, ligaments, and the smaller stabilizing muscles that protect the joints. Because there is no repeated movement, joint wear is reduced while connective tissue becomes stronger and more resilient. Even renowned physician Dr. Peter Attia was shocked at how much isometrics can help the body in recovery and build muscle at the same time.
But I don't think I was actually aware that isometric training could generate or elicit the same hypertrophy response as isotonic or movement-based contraction.
Holding a position under load also trains the nervous system. The brain learns how to recruit muscle fibers efficiently and maintain stability when stress is applied. This is exactly what joints are meant to do in real life. Isometrics teach the body how to stay solid when pressure hits from unexpected angles. That is why they are so effective for injury prevention and joint durability. Over time, these holds build joints that don't rely on momentum or perfect conditions. And before you get bored of this video, let's jump into the first exercise that forms unbreakable knees. Wall sit. According to performance therapist and strength coach Dr. John Rusin, isometrics create strength where you need it most, under pressure without momentum. That is exactly why the wall sit looks harmless but packs a punch. Just your back against a wall, and that's exactly why people underestimate it. But this simple hold does something most leg exercises fail to do. It teaches your knees and hips how to survive sustained pressure without breaking down. When you drop into a wall sit, the quads light up immediately. The glutes kick in to stabilize the hips, but the real work happens deeper. The connective tissue around the knees and hips is forced to adapt to long-duration tension. There's no momentum to hide behind and no way to shift the load elsewhere. Your joints have to hold the line. This is why wall sits build real leg endurance. They strengthen the exact positions where fatigue usually causes collapse. Athletes don't get injured at the start of movement. They get injured when tired. Wall sits condition the body for that moment. There's also no impact. That makes this hold ideal for building knee resilience without the wear and tear of jumping or heavy lifting. Over time, the legs learn to stay stable under stress instead of shaking apart. To perform a proper wall sit, stand with your back flat against a wall and slide down until your thighs are parallel to the floor. Knees should be stacked over the ankles, feet about shoulder width apart. Press your lower back and shoulders into the wall, brace your core, and breathe steadily. Hold the position without shifting or standing up early. Start with 20 to 30 seconds and build up from there. The wall sit forges a strong core, back and knees, but what about the upper body? That's where the next exercise comes in. Push-up hold.
I had a labral repair, a while ago, and This was the first thing I was permitted to do.
Dr. Peter Attia shared his side of the story with isometrics and their effectiveness with shoulder injuries. But there's another hold that can build strong shoulder joints, and it's the push-up hold. It's one of the most underrated ways to build resilient upper body joints. Instead of moving through reps, this hold forces the body to stay strong at the most vulnerable position of the push-up, right near the bottom. That pause is where the shoulders, elbows, and wrists are forced to work together under constant tension. At the bottom position, the chest and triceps remain fully engaged, but the real benefit comes from the shoulders. The scapulae must stabilize to keep the shoulder joint safe and centered. Without that control, the shoulders collapse forward, which is exactly how injuries develop over time. The push-up hold trains the body to resist that collapse. The elbows also benefit from sustained tension. Instead of absorbing force through repeated movement, the connective tissue around the elbow adapts to holding load steadily. The wrists, often neglected in training, strengthen as they support the body's weight in extension. Over time, this builds durability that carries over to pressing, pushing, and even catching falls. What makes the push-up hold so effective is its honesty. There is no momentum and no way to rush through weak points. The body either holds position or it doesn't. That forces clean alignment and conscious control. To perform it correctly, start in a standard push-up position. Lower yourself slowly until your chest is a few inches from the floor, elbows bent at roughly 45 degrees. Keep your core tight, glutes engaged, and shoulders pulled slightly back and down. Hold this position while breathing steadily. Begin with 10 to 20 seconds and gradually increase as strength improves. If the push-up hold teaches the upper body how not to collapse, the next hold does the same for the most important regions in the body, and most people skip it entirely. It looks easy, almost too basic, but it fixes one of the biggest reasons backs and hips fail under load. The isometric glute bridge. The glute bridge hold targets hip stability, the foundation of nearly every movement you perform. When the hips are weak or unstable, the lower back takes over, and that's where pain begins. By holding the top position of the glute bridge, the posterior chain is forced to stay active without rest. The glutes fire continuously, the hamstrings assist, and the core braces to keep the pelvis from tilting. This sustained contraction trains the pelvis to remain locked and controlled under pressure. Instead of shifting or dumping tension into the spine, the hips learn to carry the load the way they're supposed to. Over time, this reduces stress on the lower back and improves power transfer through the legs. The glute bridge hold also retrains posture. Long hours of sitting shut down the glutes and leave the hips unstable. This hold reverses that damage by restoring strength and awareness to the muscles that keep the body upright and balanced. To perform it correctly, lie on your back with knees bent and feet flat on the floor. Drive through your heels and lift your hips until your body forms a straight line from shoulders to knees. Squeeze the glutes hard, brace the core, and keep the ribs down. Hold the position without letting the hips drop or the lower back arch. Start with 20 to 30 seconds and build from there. Now there is one isometric hold that leaves most people exhausted, and for good reason. Before joints fail, they usually lose control. This hold exposes that weakness fast. Number 3. The L-sit. The L-sit looks simple, but very few people can hold it cleanly for more than a few seconds, and that's exactly why it's so powerful. The L-sit challenges multiple joints at once in positions most training never touches. The shoulders are forced into constant depression and stabilization as they support your full body weight. The elbows lock under load. The hips move into deep flexion. The core has to compress hard enough to lift and keep the legs parallel to the ground. Nothing gets to relax. This is why the L-sit forges resilient joints. It trains control at extreme angles, not just strength in neutral positions. The hip flexors learn to generate force while the pelvis stays stable. The shoulders learn to bear load without shrugging or collapsing. The spine is forced to stay tall and braced, protecting the lower back instead of stressing it. Most people avoid this position because it exposes weak links immediately. Shaking arms, bent knees, collapsing shoulders, weak triceps. But that feedback is the point. Isometrics like the L-sit teach the nervous system how to hold structure under stress, which is exactly what joints are designed to do. To perform it, place your hands on parallel bars, dip bars, or the floor beside your hips. Press down hard through your palms, lift your body, and extend your legs straight out in front of you. Lock the knees, point the toes, and keep the chest tall. Start with short holds and build time gradually. Master the L-sit, and you don't just build abs, you build joint control that carries into every movement you do. After you've done the L-sit, it's important to understand another aspect of the human body. Most people don't lose strength because they're weak. They lose it because their spine gives up first. That's why this next and final hold matters more than it looks. The Superman Isometric Hold. The Superman hold trains spinal endurance, the ability of your back to stay strong when everything else is tired. When you hold extension, the muscles along the spine are forced to remain active without movement. The back either holds its shape or it doesn't. This teaches the spine how to resist collapse under fatigue. In real life and training, breakdown rarely happens at the start of a movement. It happens at the end, when posture fades and the spine rounds or overextends. The Superman conditions the muscles that prevent that failure. It also improves awareness. Holding the position makes you feel exactly where weakness shows up, whether it's in the lower back, the mid-spine, or the shoulders. That feedback is invaluable. Instead of guessing what's wrong, the body tells you. To perform it, lie face down on the floor. Extend your arms overhead and lift your arms, chest, and legs slightly off the ground. Keep the neck neutral and squeeze the glutes to protect the lower back. Hold the position while breathing slowly. Master this hold and you don't just strengthen your back. You train the ability to stay upright when fatigue tries to fold you in half. Now that you've completed all the exercises, let's tie them into a brutal isometric routine. The isometric workout. Start with the wall sit and hold for 30 to 60 seconds to load the knees and hips. Move directly into the push-up hold, pausing near the bottom for 15 to 30 seconds to stabilize the shoulders and elbows. Next, drop to the floor for the glute bridge hold and maintain the top position for 30 seconds, keeping the hips locked. Finish with the Superman hold for 20 to 30 seconds to reinforce spinal endurance. Rest 1 to 2 minutes, then repeat the sequence 2 to 3 times. Increase the time or add weights as you build more strength. So, which one of these 4 exercises will be the most difficult for you? Comment your answer below and subscribe for more content like this.